news for everyone. I wasn't sure if I was going to make this one, but then I looked back and saw that I did it last year, so I thought I might as well. I might as well do it anyway. So it's the 2024 year in review on Ghost Ship side of things, which is a numerical breakdown of basically the year's stats in terms of like sales and player deaths and things like that. It's not exactly what I would call news, but you can see there it is categorized as such. So let's just dive in. I'll sort of do it in a way of technically reading through it, even though it's like a big like infographic. It kind of just works out. Let's just get into it. Anyway, I'm not going to read that part because I think it's actually more interesting to cover this number here with the actual infographic. Anyway, hello miners, great news for hobby statisticians. Not me. We've got our annual year in review statistics ready. Sorry, it's a bit late this year. Someone spilled juice on the office calculator, so we had to do it all by hand. That's not true. Management is very pleased with some critical figures. Overall employee deaths have decreased this year, for example. Full damage is still the leading killer among DRG employees. I love that that's still the case. But this year, recorded cases dropped to an acceptable 32 million. Nice work. As usual, any figures relating to workplace safety violations and employee complaints have been omitted, as management deemed these numbers to be statistically insignificant. Yeah, I'm sure that's why. Please enjoy the full statistics below and know that Deep Rock Galactic Corporation appreciates your contributions to the record this year. To this record year. Rock and Stone, I wonder what it's going to look like for 2025, the year when nothing happens for Deep Rock. That's not me being pessimistic either. That's just the truth. Because obviously what 2024 had, was season 5 to sort of form itself around, and we'll see how that's influenced things in just a moment. Because we start with 10 million units sold across all platforms. Now, I looked at the difference between this and last year, so the difference is actually it went from 8 million units to 10 million units, so it sold 2 million units in 2025. Look, that's really good. Just getting to the 10 million mark is kind of insane, and the game still reached its peak player count during Season 5, so I think they're doing just fine. I think that's actually really impressive. It's not going to reach 15 million or anything this year. I'd be surprised if it even reaches 12, but it's still, I think it's the right time to hit this milestone now that Deep Rock is sort of on something of a back burner. Until the foreseeable future. Maybe things go well enough that we get there, it actually somehow crosses 15 million by the end of next year, after like season 6 has passed. Because that's like between now and then, so it's quite a lot of time between now and the end of 2026. We'll see. Anyway, so this user engagement is Steam only. I think most stats are Steam only, but I think unless it's labeled as such, I do believe it's all universal as well. It's kind of a little bit of a mix. 48 hours and 2 minutes of average playtime spent per user. That's a very good amount of time to get out of any game. So, although I don't know if I want to be comparing this to the previous one, that's not really the point of this, so let's not do that. But over 1 million players play for more than 100 hours, which is actually also really good. 100 hours for any game is really fantastic, especially a game that isn't story-based. Like a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's pretty much that amount of time, but that's from literally just the story, is like roughly 100 hours, right? It's not surprising that people get that much playtime out of it. A game that isn't that, and is sort of just based on you doing quite repetitive tasks and just sort of finding ways to motivate that, basically. Having over 1 million people play for more than 100 hours is actually crazy. And I know obviously I'm one of those people, although I'm not on Steam, so who knows how far it goes if we were to factor in console players. Anyway, over 340 million sessions since the launch of DRG in 2018. That makes sense. Although sessions, that actually sounds kind of low. I guess it's just like, because obviously a session isn't a mission. A session is like when someone beats up the game to when they close it. But even then, I guess it probably isn't. No, that sounds, unless I'm being really stupid, that actually sounds really low to me. Am I crazy? It's the idea that, I guess, if we take 10 million players overall across the entire lifetime, they would only have to boot it up 34 times each, you know. And I feel like that's very doable, but not for 10 million. Whatever. Excuse me. Roughly 850 million missions played by all users since launch. So I guess I'm just sort of a little bit askew on what kind of numbers actually mean and how they stack up. I know that 10 million units doesn't mean there's 10 million dedicated players. I know that neither does the million players over 100 hours. Obviously, there's a lot of players. Technically, most players are probably well under that. But then again, the average is 48 hours. So that means that most players are playing for a decent amount of time. So I don't know. User base has almost tripled since 2019. So we're sort of talking about, I guess, this point to this point, or something like that. Because as you can see, as far as numbers go, the game's peak in terms of consistency was between season 3 and 5, and it has finally started to dip. But obviously, still at quite a respectable level, hovering around 100,000 players. I don't know if that's monthly or yearly. I'm not sure, to be honest, or quite what this means, but it's not surprising that it's declined, but it does seem to have stabilised as well. I do think the game's probably at a point where there's going to be a lot of people who never leave Deep Rock, basically, and I think that's cool. I think it's always going to have this very loyal fan base, and the fact is, one day we will get season 6. It's probably going to be a massive jumbo update like season 5 was, and who knows, there probably might be even more in the future. And then there'll be even less reason to leave the game once it's become even more replayable. And I apologise, my throat is quite tingly. Oh well. So user base in 2024, Steam only. So here we start seeing some flux, and if I'm not mistaken, this hasn't happened before where a number has gone down. I'm pretty sure daily active users is roughly 139,000, down from 150,000 in 2023. But the monthly active users is roughly 1.15 million, which is up from 1 million in 2023. But the average concurrent users is 11,000, down from 19,000 in 2023. That's quite a significant decrease, to be honest. So average concurrent users is sort of the average online at any given time. Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. I don't know if that means that people wore off on season 5 quicker than they were expecting. I'm not sure. So reviews, still 97% positive out of 263,000 reviews. Incredible. And it is ranked 21 of the best reviewed games of all time on Steam. Order of the Deep DLC was the fastest selling DLC for DRG, with over almost 44,000 buying it within the first 24 hours. That is kind of crazy. Especially because that totals up to, what would it be? So it's about £7. So that's probably well over $300,000 or £300,000. So good on them, because that's a lot of money. And Rocore is number 65 most wishlisted upcoming game on Steam. I think that is quite high. I'm not sure, because obviously I don't know how big the wish list is of how the most wishlisted games, right? Because there's only a certain amount of games that are upcoming, but that still feels quite high that it has this top 100. But then again, that's what I mean. I can't list off 100. I can't list off 65 upcoming games, but still, it sounds good. Of course, the Deep Rock shop is now open for business. I might put a link to that in the description. I mean, if I can find it, I think I probably will. Also, in terms of other games, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor launched in early access on the 14th of February and had 1 million units sold in less than 1 month, showing the power of the IP. Let's hope that Rocore is able to surpass even this. Steam followers, almost 2.7 Steam followers, 2.7 million, 2.7. In 2024, DRG reached rank number 5 for the most followed game on Steam of all time. Okay, that's quite a lot. Reddit subscribers have gone up by about 52,000. That's pretty good. Discord members, 652,000. Is still among the top 25 most active gaming servers in the world. Okay. And they've also gained almost 50,000 subscribers on the Ghost Ship Games YouTube channel. I think I will probably link that in the description as well. I mean, why not? It spent 2,031 days in the top 250 sellers on Steam. Steam 250, I don't know what that means. Is that like a hashtag or something? Okay, whatever. In-game stats, the top 5 causes of death in 2024. Number 1 is Full Damage, as always, and then number 2 is the Glyph. I'm pretty sure this doesn't change. In fact, we will have a look at that. Let's confirm that. This won't take long, don't worry. Oh my god, I overshot by a lot. Okay, there we go. Yep. Although, is the order slightly different? No. No, it's not. It's exactly the same. But you can see the amount of deaths caused has actually gone down by a significant amount in like sort of all the categories because less people are playing. So there you go. During 2024, you ordered 46 million rounds of beer, totaling 94 million beers. Amazing. 17.3% of you passed out drunk during 2024. Significant improvement from 2023. Well done, because less people playing means less people drinking. So I can't help it. I'm making deductions. Of those of you who passed out drunk during 2024, you passed out drunk an average of 339 times. Or 3.39 times? I'm thrown off by the comma. That comma's weird. I think it's actually meant to be a decimal in this case. I mean, it is here, so. Lloyd is still raking in quite the income. Total amount of credit tipped, it was 106 million, or almost really 107 million, so that's pretty good. And the names of the top 10 most played missions during 2024: Work Instructions, Wild End, Shattered Arm, Corrosive Luck, Petrified Outpost, Shattered Outpost, 2 outposts, Sharp Honor, Wild Arm, 2 arms, Corrupt Tongue, and Loaded Pocket. Loaded Pockets. That sounds like something, doesn't it? It sounds like a perk. So there you go. Those are the 2024 stats, sort of how everything went down numerically for the game in 2024. I'd be interested to see, most of all, what Rogue Corps' first one of these looks like. Obviously, we're hoping for quite a big launch. But I think there's nothing here that doesn't make sense. The game's continuing to grow, although there are some sort of, in terms of like recurring stats, there are some downtrends, I suppose. But the one thing that can't really change is that the game is always going to continue to sell more. So the fact that they hit the 10 million sales milestone is really cool. So well done, Ghost Ship. I do think you deserve it still, and I hope you continue to deserve it, and to deserve it even more with the next game, which is kind of going to be the fulcrum point of the year. It's going to dictate a lot. It's going to dictate a lot to do with the channel. We'll see how things go, but I'm optimistic. I think we actually kind of all are about Rogue Corps. So let's just wait and see. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this or found it useful, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to stay on top of everything to do with Deep Rock and Rogue Corps, then also click the bell, and I'll see you. Well, we'll see you on Saturday.